Welcome to the General Services Administration's Office of Government-Wide Policies Federal Real Property Profile Management System, FRPP MS training. In this video, we will be covering what is FRPP, user roles and agency hierarchy, how to sign in and reset your password, general navigation, asset search and summary reports, manual data modification, submission, and removal process, data submission, modification, and deletion of multiple assets, data confirmation, error reports, administrative functions, data anomaly reports, verification and validation process, and the analytics dashboard, verification and validation goal and agency compliance, user search, contact us, data files, and training. This training video, along with the FRPP user guides, will assist FRPP users to successfully access and upload data into the FRPP database. FRPP MS was created under Executive Order 13327 and is the federal database of all real property under the custody and control of all executive branch agencies, except when otherwise required for reasons of national security, in accordance with the Federal Asset Sales and Transfer Act of 2016. Agencies are required to submit data to FRPP MS on an annual basis following the end of the fiscal year. Data is reported at the constructed asset level for each land, building, and other structure that is owned, leased, or otherwise managed by an agency. FRPP MS was created to centralize information as well as promote the efficient and economical use of the federal government's real property assets. We are required by law and executive order to go through this data submission and validation process annually. The system will be available to users on September 21st, and submissions are due on December 15th following the end of that fiscal year. Users in the system are provisioned with specific roles for the responsibilities they need to carry out, each carrying their own access and permissions. Read users have access to view asset data for their assigned agency or bureau. Read users cannot create or edit any data. Write users can view, create, and edit asset data manually for their assigned agency or bureau. Data submission users can view, create, and edit asset data in bulk for their assigned agency or bureau using an XML or CSV file. Data analytics users can utilize the FRPP dashboard for an analysis of their agency's anomalies and reduce the footprint status. Data anomaly users who have access to the data anomaly reports and the anomaly V&V tab are responsible for generating data anomaly reports and then resolving the data anomalies, as well as providing confirmation of resolution to GSA. The agency administrator can view, edit, and delete data for their assigned agency. In essence, they can do everything mentioned above and are responsible for uploading and submitting the data. Agency administrators are also responsible for confirming the data to complete the data submission process for the fiscal year. Access to records will depend on what agency and what level the user is in. This is what we refer to as agency hierarchy. Access to information will flow from the top level, Level 1, top agency level, Level 2, sub-agency level, Level 3, bureau office level. To sign in to FRPP, you will start by going to the login page at realpropertyprofile.gov. We recommend bookmarking this page for future access. The login page is broken up into 4 main sections. The About FRPP MS area is a brief statement of the system's purpose. The Public FRPP Data section provides a link to where data can be accessed by the public. The Resources and Contact area provides access to helpful related links and app owner contacts. And finally, the login form on the right-hand side of the page provides 3 ways to access the system. There are 2 options under General User Login, with an additional option below for GSA Single Sign-On for GSA staff only. Registered Max Federal Community members may use OMB Max to access the system with their Common Access Card or Personal Identity Verification Card by choosing the Max Login option on the login page. If you are interested in this login option but are not yet a Max Federal Community user, please visit the following website to register your CAC or PIV card with Max. If you sign in with your username and password, you will be redirected to a page requiring a verification code sent by email. If you have a mobile number associated with your account, you will also have the option, in addition to email, to set up a 2-factor authentication app like Google Authenticator to complete your verification processes. When you select the Authenticator app option, a QR code will appear on your screen. Just go to the Authenticator application you have on your mobile phone and choose to add by scanning the QR code with your camera. A numerical sequence will appear on your phone screen. Enter this token to continue into the system. Next time you choose this option, you will only need to retrieve the verification code from your Authenticator app to get in. If you would like to utilize the Authenticator app verification feature, but don't have your mobile number associated with your account, once you have entered FRPP MS, you can do so by clicking on your username in the top right corner and selecting My Settings. For detailed step-by-step instructions, a link to the document Instructions for FRPP MS Database Community Login using Authenticator app can be found below the username and password section under the Username Login button. However, if you have forgotten your password, you will need to click on Forgot Your Password hyperlink text below the username login. When you click on the Forgot Your Password hyperlink, you will be guided to a page that will ask you to enter your username and click Continue. The following page will ask you to check your email. You will receive 2 separate emails for this verification process. One email will be titled GSA Login Code and will have a verification code for you. The other email will be titled Your New FRPP Password. This email includes a hyperlink to a secure page requesting a verification code. Enter your verification code on this page and click Continue. You may now change your password to fit within the minimum requirements of 8 characters, 1 letter, and 1 number. You should now be in the database and greeted by the home page, which features a global search at the top right under your username that allows you to enter a term or terms on which you want to search all records. Under the search bar will be a tabular section of available pages to you. On the center of this page, you will be able to have a view of your current access level. On the main center portion of the page, you will find general information about the application as well as a broadcast message from the application owners that may relate to your submissions. A link to contact the help desk is on the bottom center of the page. The Asset Search tab will be accessible by read users, write users, data submission users, and agency admins. This tab serves as a dedicated filter option so that you can search for specific asset data as needed. The Add Asset tab is accessible by write users and agency admins. Here you are able to manually add an asset as necessary. The Data Submission tab is accessible by data submission users and agency admins. This page is where you can perform mass data loads, deletions, or edits for your asset data. The D2D Reports tab is accessible only to D2D users. This page will present you with the icon labeled D2D as a link to the D2D website d2d.gsa.gov, which contains both the archived datasets as well as a set of annual and summary reports that can be run on the archived data. The Administration tab is accessible only to agency admins. This tab has the inventory clearance function, which clears your asset data rolled over from the previous year. The data confirmation tab allows agency admins to confirm their agency data. This tab is available to agency admins only. The Bureau Summary Report tab is accessible to agency admins only and is where you can generate a summary report to compare variances between reporting years. The Annual Summary Reports tab is accessible to agency admins only and contains pre-generated reports to select for your convenience. The Anomaly Reports tab is accessible to data anomaly users and agency admins. This page is where you will generate automated reports in which data anomalies are identified. These reports are only available after the most recent year's data anomalies are generated, generally after February 1st of the year following the most recent December 15 data submissions. The Dashboards tab is accessible to analytics users only and presents a data-rich analysis of your agency data anomalies as well as the Reduce the Footprint detailed summary. The Anomaly V&V tab is accessible by data anomaly users and agency admins. This tab presents all records of data anomalies for you to review and allows you to update the status of the anomalies. The Training tab contains all the training documents, data dictionaries, and videos to assist you in successfully completing your FRPP duties. All the way on the left, the Reports tab is available for you to search specific reports or create reports specific to your needs. The FRPP MS User Search tab allows agency admins to search for FRPP MS users. The Data Files tab allows users to download data files or reports based on the data that has been submitted by fiscal year, agency, and reporting bureau. The Contact Us tab allows users to submit a case to the help desk for further assistance. A link to access the help desk is also available on the bottom of every page. Through the Asset Search tab, users can perform an advanced search for specific assets or overall summary reports depending on their access. The Report field in the top right of the page lists various report types available and is the only required field needed to run a report. Note that the Asset Staging report is accessible only to data submission users and agency admins. The remaining reports are only accessible to the read-write users and the agency admins. So, depending on your role, the reports that are available to you will differ. All of the other fields on the page are additional fields you can use to filter your search down to the asset or assets you're looking for. After you finish making your selections, click on the Search button at the top or bottom right-hand corner to generate the report. To save a copy of the report to your local computer, click the down caret next to the Edit button on the upper right side of the report. From there, select the Export option. You will be given two options to download, either a formatted report or a details-only report. The formatted report includes all report headers, groupings, and filter settings. This is useful if sharing the file with others so that they know what filters were used. Formatted reports are only available in the .xlsx file format. Details-only reports include the report row details. Select this option if the data will be used in further calculations or for uploading to other systems. This report format is available in .xlss, .xls, and .csv formats. For reports with large amounts of data, we recommend downloading the report in a .csv file format. To create a brand new report, simply click on the New Report button at the top right of the Reports tab. Then make sure you select the FRPP Asset report type. If you do not see the FRPP Asset report type, ensure that you click the All in the left-hand side of the page. Then click the blue Start Report button on the right column of the page to create the report. On the left column of the report, you will see two tabs: Outline, which allows you to select the columns you wish to display on the report, as well as any groupings you'd like to create. Fields can be selected by typing in the search box under columns or groups, respectively, or by clicking the Fields bar on the leftmost side of the page and double-clicking the fields you'd like to display. To select multiple fields at a time, you can double-click the folder and add all fields, or hold down Ctrl on Windows or Command key on Mac while clicking the fields you'd like to include and dragging and dropping them to the column or group section. You can sort these fields by dragging and dropping them. The Filters tab functions in the same manner as the Outline tab. We recommend adding the following filters at minimum to ensure you are getting the best and most accurate results. Fiscal year equals current fiscal year, for example, 2021. Asset record type equals uploaded, and active equals true. If filters are not applied correctly, the search will produce a different set of results. When you're finished, you can run the report without saving it by clicking Run, or save the report by clicking Save. For your convenience, if you want to come back to it later, you can choose Save and Run to perform both operations at the same time in one click. For users with the appropriate access, Bureau Summary Reports and Annual Summary Reports have direct tabs on the FRPP MS menu. Additionally, users have the option to generate disposition and predominant use summary reports. To generate either of these reports, select the agency name from the drop-down list, then click the Disposition Summary or Predominant Use Summary Report button to display the report. The Summary Report Progress button allows users to view the status of their reports, as reports with large amounts of data may take a moment to be generated. The Annual Summary Page tab contains links to all annual summary reports. Clicking the link will take you to the appropriate report. From there, the report can be edited or exported. For right users and agency admins, if your agency or bureau has only a few properties, we recommend manually adding assets through the Add Asset tab. At the beginning of a new fiscal year, GSA copies all of the existing assets from the previous year and saves them in the current fiscal year, so that agencies do not need to start from scratch when inputting their data. For new assets that were not included in the previous fiscal year, or if the agency admin has performed an inventory clearance to remove all asset data, you will fill in the data on the Add Asset page and save to manually create a new asset record. Any field with a red bar next to it must be filled out before being saved. Otherwise, an error message will pop up and prevent you from saving. After entering all of the data, double-check that all necessary information is entered correctly. Then, click on one of the Save buttons located in the top right and bottom right corners of the page. If there are any errors in the form or threshold warnings, a list of specific fields that need to be updated in order to be compliant will appear at the top of the form. Keep in mind that as you enter data into the required fields, other corresponding fields also will become required. For example, if you set the real property type to building, then the square footage field becomes mandatory. If you do not understand the errors or what is needed to fix, use the Data Dictionary to help you understand the required format of fields and to assist you in following the business rules for the current fiscal year. After correcting the errors, press Save again. The asset will then become a part of the agency's or bureau's inventory for the current fiscal year. If you want to add another asset, you would select the Add Asset tab again, fill out another form, and click Save. If you want to edit an existing asset manually, first you will need to locate it by using the Asset Search tab. Once you have located your asset in the report, click on the FRPP Asset ID as seen here in the leftmost column. Now that you're on the Assets page, you can click Edit and modify the data as needed before saving. To delete an asset manually, you will need to click the Delete button on the Asset Record page. Note that the record of an asset that is no longer in the inventory should not be deleted. The asset must be reported as disposed. Deletion should only be used in the case of a duplicate record. For larger agencies with many properties, we recommend using the XML or CSV templates through the bulk upload process on the Data Submission tab. Before even starting, however, remember that the GSA will have already copied over all of the existing assets from the previous fiscal year and saved them in the application. So the first step would be for the data submission users and/or agency admins to decide the strategy they will use to update their inventory. The XML template can be found in Data Dictionary Appendix A, and you can find both the XML and CSV templates on the training page. These templates must be followed exactly to avoid errors. Users can use XML or CSV files to enter all of an agency's data at once, eliminating the tedious task of manually entering or updating hundreds of assets. Once you're ready, you'll get started by clicking the link to download the file. Under the introduction of the XML file, you will find the opening XML file tags for the action attribute, agency code, and fiscal year. The action attribute tells FRPP MS what to do with the file. There are three options: Add, which means to add a new asset; Modify, which means you are updating an existing asset; and Delete, which will delete the asset. However, you cannot mix the action attributes throughout the file, meaning you cannot add an asset within the same file in which you are trying to delete an asset. So you will need to upload multiple files if you wish to use all three attributes, because the system will only accept one action attribute per file. Depending on the strategy chosen to update the existing inventory, you will either use Modify for the action attribute if you are just updating the previous year's information, or if the agency admin performed an inventory clearance, you will use the Add action to input the property data from scratch. For those using the CSV template, once you open the file, you will see an example of what the values should look like. The CSV file uses the pipe symbol as a delimiter. It looks like a sequence of values separated by vertical lines. The format allows for the header and subsequent records to follow. The header will note the HDR tag, the reporting year, the action attribute of Add, Modify, or Delete, and lastly, your 2-digit agency code. All the rows that follow the header will be considered a new record. The recorded asset values must follow the structure sequence of fields as defined in the CSV Technical Reporting Guidance section of the FRPP Data Dictionary for each building, land, or structure asset type. Just like the XML file, please note that you cannot mix the action attributes within the file, meaning you cannot add an asset in the same file in which you are trying to delete an asset. Also note that it is recommended that you have a file that doesn't exceed 50 megabytes for XML or 5 megabytes for CSV. If you have a file that is over 5 megabytes, you will have to split the file up into multiple files so that they can process properly, and always save with a unique name that does not include periods for every file submitted. In the past, some agencies use separate files for buildings, land, and structures, or use separate files for different bureaus, etc. That's an easy way to track if a specific bureau has an error and which file to look into rather than searching through a massive file with multiple bureaus. Once the file is ready, the data submission user or agency admin will then select the Data Submission tab and should see the agency that the file is being uploaded for. Click the Attach File button after selecting your file. The system will upload your file and begin processing your file. The Data Submission page will show all of the agency's staged files that were attached, with the most recent files appearing at the top of the list. Once the files have been staged, You will see a status next to each file, and the system will begin to validate the file. If the file status is processing, validation in progress, or valid, ready for thresholds check, then there are no issues with adding your file. Processing means that the file submission worked correctly and are currently processing. Validation in progress means that the attached file is being validated against the business rules from the current fiscal year's data dictionary. Valid and ready for thresholds check will happen after you have validated all the errors with the business rules. This indicates the next step is ready to begin. However, if there is an error in your upload, there are 7 additional possible statuses after processing. Invalid means that the file has errors in it and the data business rules have failed. These errors need to be corrected by the agency admin or the data submission user using the data dictionary as your guide. You can correct them directly in the system by running an error report, which we will cover in more detail later. If you correct the file outside of the FRPP system, the corrected file will need to be reattached and validated again. The invalid CSV file status means that the CSV file that was uploaded did not have the correct CSV format or schema, so the system could not properly read the file. This could be due to typos or unwanted spaces, so you'll have to remove the CSV file, update it, and reattach it so it can be validated. Invalid XML file status means the same as invalid CSV file status, but for uploaded XML file. The validation failure status means the validation process has failed, most likely due to an issue in the FRPP system. Just reattach your file and try again. Dropped asset identified status means that the attached file contains an unexpected error within the XML file, and the system does not know how to process it. An email will be sent to the technical support team and the individual who uploaded the file. Please cease activity on this file until you receive resolution steps from the support team. Verify threshold status means that the attached file contains a field value that falls outside of the allowed threshold. Please verify the accuracy of the data or correct the data by using the Verify Thresholds error report. Upload failure status means the upload has failed for a variety of reasons. Please try your upload again. If you see the status uploaded, this indicates that the agency admin has already selected to upload the valid file, and the records within the file have been updated and are reflected in the agency's inventory. If your upload doesn't appear, check to be sure that your format is correct and that you do not have any periods in your file names. If applicable, you may select one of the error reports under the Reports column and edit the errors directly in the file you have staged. A data submission user or an agency admin can run the error reports. However, the agency admin is the only user who can confirm the data in FRPP MS. The agency admin is responsible for confirming all data for the agency once the data submissions are uploaded and the agency reporting is complete. To confirm the data, the agency admin must first go to the Data Submission tab, which is only visible to agency admins. The reports you can generate will allow the agency admin to review the information that was submitted for the agency. This includes the XML or CSV files that were submitted, as well as any individual asset records that were added manually or updated. There are 8 reports available, and agency admins are strongly encouraged to run all reports as an accuracy check. At the bottom of the page, the agency admin must leave a comment, then click the Confirm button. If no errors occur, then the data submission process for the agency or bureau will be considered complete for the current fiscal year. Once this is complete, the agency will be under a data submission blackout and no longer will be able to submit data for that fiscal year unless approved by the FRPP app owners. If your data submission upload does indeed fail, you may select one of the 3 error reports under the Reports column next to your upload in the data submission page. At this point in the process, error reports will be either Validation Summary Report, Detail Error Report, or Data Correction. The Validation Summary Report will display a summary of the validations and number of errors by asset type. The Validation Summary Report shows how many records are contained in the file, and it shows the error totals for the 3 different asset types. Both the agency admin and data submission user can use this report to find the data that must be corrected before uploading the file. The next type of report is the detailed error report. This report displays all of the errors in the file at the data element level. You can select one of these unique FRPP asset IDs to open a record. Here you are opening a staged record and correcting the errors directly in the file. As a data submission user opens up the records, they will have the option to click the Edit button for the staged record. Clicking Edit will show what is missing or invalid. After making the appropriate edits, click the Save button in the top right-hand corner. The record will now be updated, and you can return to the Data Submission tab. The Data Correction Report has the same functionality as the Detailed Error Report, but all the errors for the attached file are displayed at an asset level and not at the data element level. The benefit of viewing errors at the asset level versus the data element level is that it shows the number of assets with data errors, which may affect how an agency decides to make corrections. Once the file is free of errors created by the validation process, you will see the status change to Valid, Ready for Thresholds check, and the Verify Thresholds button will become enabled. Once that process has run its course, if there are thresholds that need to be cleared, you will have the option to view the Thresholds Warning Report. This report will display the assets which have exceeded the value threshold set by GSA in comparison to the previous year. You can select an asset ID to access the asset record in question. On this page, you will be able to see up to 1,000 thresholds at a time, or you can export to Excel to view all if you have more than 1,000 records to review. You can individually mark assets as correct, or you can click the topmost checkmark box followed by Checked records are correct. This allows you to validate multiple thresholds at once. An alternative way of viewing and editing thresholds is to click the individual asset from the Threshold Warnings report and click Edit. Once you do that, you will see at the top of the page a list of threshold warnings particular to that asset, and you can confirm that your data is accurate or correct the asset from there. Once the file is free of errors, you will need to notify your agency admin so that they can select Upload under the Upload column to finalize the data submission for that file. The data submitter's role is now complete. Now we will go over the different administrative functions that are specific to an agency administrator. So let's start by going to the Administration tab. The agency admin has the ability to perform an inventory clearance, which, as mentioned before, clears the inventory for their agency or up to 4 bureaus at one time for the current fiscal year. You can use the Control button on your keyboard to select more than one bureau. This clearance process will run behind the scenes and will send you an email once the clearance has been completed. If the data submission user and agency admin agree to submit their data using file uploads, the agency admin must clear the inventory first. Only agency admin has the permission to perform an inventory clearance. There is also a log of the different inventory clearances that have been performed for the selected agency or bureaus. It shows the date that the clearance process took place and who was responsible for clearing the agency's inventory. It also shows whether or not the agency's inventory clearance has been completed or not. It does not show the individual records that have been cleared. Once the inventory is cleared, it is gone for the current fiscal year. Make sure you are being careful since there is not a back or undo button for this process. FRPP Validation and Verification, V&V, has 3 components in the following order. 1. Business Rule Validation refers to an existing automated feature in FRPP MS preventing users from entering a data element value that does not pass established rules such as format, number of characters, etc. It is a regular part of the data submission process. 2. Automated data anomaly reports identify assets whose data suggest possible inconsistencies or inaccuracies. Agencies are now required to run automated anomaly detection reports in FRPP MS every year after all data is uploaded to FRPP MS and the reporting period has closed. The FRPP app owners will notify agencies when the anomaly reports have been populated and are available for review. 3. In anomaly resolution, agencies investigate whether the underlying data flagged by the anomalies are accurate or inaccurate. Agencies must research the identified assets and resolve all anomalies no later than October 15th of every year. This timing enables agencies to resolve anomalies before, but not during, the FRPP reporting period. To get started with viewing your anomalies, you can go to the Anomaly Reports tab or the Anomaly V&V tab. Analytics users can also view the anomalies through the Analytics Dashboard tab if your agency qualifies. The Anomaly Reports tab is where data anomaly users and agency admins can generate automated reports in which the agency's anomalies are identified. This is useful for investigating anomalies before addressing the anomalies in the V&V tab. There are various data anomaly reports, both immediate reports and on-queue reports. Agencies must run these reports individually. It is important to note that reported anomalies may not be incorrect. It could mean that the data falls outside expected parameters or that a combination of data elements suggests an unlikely scenario. The report will be generated after clicking the report you wish to view. To save a copy of the report to your local computer, click the down caret next to the Edit button on the upper right side of the report. From there, select the Export option. You will be given two options to download, either a formatted report or a details-only report. Formatted reports include all the report headings, groupings, and filter settings. This is useful if sharing the file with others so that they know what filters were used. Formatted reports are only available in the .xlsx file format. Details-only report include only the report detail rows. Select this option if the data will be used in further calculations or for uploading to other systems. This report format is available in .xlsx, .xls, and .csv formats. For reports with large amounts of data, we recommend downloading the report in a .csv file format. Once you are ready to address the anomalies, data anomaly users and agency admins can access the Anomaly V&V tab to view the different types of anomalies and validate them. If you have a large amount of similar anomalies that you wish to resolve as a group, you can create a list view by clicking on the gear icon next to the search bar. Then click New List View. You can also clone the list view you are currently on by selecting Clone. You will then be prompted to input a list name. Once you save, you can view this list again at any time. However, it will only be viewable to the user who creates it. Any list views that you want to be viewed publicly must be approved by the application owners. Following the agency's investigation of the anomalies, there are two ways to resolve a selected anomaly. The first way is to mark its status as affirmed, meaning the data element flagged as anomalous is actually correct, or marking it as error CAS, confirming that the anomaly is indeed an error and must be corrected in the agency's own asset management system. You can resolve multiple anomalies by clicking on the checkboxes next to them and marking them as affirmed or error CAS using the buttons at the top of the page. Or you can review and resolve anomalies one at a time by clicking the Edit button, which can be found on the right side of the page when you click the downward-facing caret. Once an anomaly is resolved, it will no longer count toward the agency's outstanding anomaly totals. The decision you made will be presented under the data anomaly status. If you wish to reverse your decision, reselect the anomalies and click the Reset Status button. Data anomaly statuses marked as previously affirmed reflect prior year's anomalies that were affirmed as accurate. Agencies do not need to take action on any previously affirmed anomalies. Another place analytics users can view their agency anomaly records for the V&V process is on the Dashboard tab, which allows for better visualization of the anomaly data. This page may take some time to load depending on the number of anomaly records your agency has, but once it's loaded, you'll be able to see a full and complete breakdown of your agency. Filters will be available at the top of the page for you to break down your view by agency, bureau, anomaly category, anomaly status, anomaly owned by, and fiscal year. All of these filters are multi-select and can limit the selection of the other filters if narrowed down further. The unique assets shows the number of assets related to the unique anomalies, while the unique anomalies shows the number of anomalies associated with your filtered anomaly categories. You will have a top-level view of your unresolved anomalies, those that are affirmed, and error CAS, or previously affirmed. Graphs are also included for better visualization of your anomalies in regard to the status of your data, as well as the anomaly categories across your agency. At the very bottom of the dashboard is a table view of the anomalies associated with your filters. This is where you can utilize your filtering to review your anomalies by clicking on the drop marker to the upper right of the table and selecting Send to List View. The system will generate a list view in the V&V page for you to then resolve those anomaly records. It is important to note that this feature will only bring over the first 2,000 records for the list view you filtered in the dashboard. If you are bringing over more than 2,000 records, you will need to complete your validation, then go back to the dashboard and retrieve the additional records. Keep in mind that the dashboard is not in real time and it is refreshed every hour, so any changes you make will not be immediately reflected in the dashboard. Additionally, in the second tab at the top of the dashboard will be the Reduce the Footprint, RTF, which shows the assets covered by the RTF policy at a federal level view with filters to narrow the scope. On October 15th, GSA will close the V&V period and monitor the percentage of each agency's current fiscal year anomalies which have been resolved, to ensure that they meet the 100% threshold for the V&V reporting year that has closed. GSA will repeat this process each subsequent year, analyzing agencies' progress towards the resolution target and the total number of anomalies government-wide. To get to your Data Anomaly Trending Report, go to the Anomaly Reports tab. There you will see the Trending Report section at the very bottom of the page. Select the appropriate values for your certification letter and then click on Data Anomaly Trending Report in the bottom of the page. The FRPP MS user search allows agency admins to search for FRPP MS users in their agency. They can filter results by selecting permission set and if the user is active or not. They can also filter by first or last name and email address. Leaving a field blank will return all results without filtering by that field. If all fields are left blank, then all users will be returned. The results may be exported as a CSV file by clicking the Download as CSV button, or the results may be viewed on the page. The Contact Us page features a form to easily allow users to contact the help desk. Simply fill out the fields and, if necessary, upload files such as screenshots, then click Create a Case. Your message will be sent directly to the help desk associated with the application you have selected. Additionally, you will find a link to contact the help desk at the bottom of every FRPP MS page. The Data Files page allows data submission, write, and agency admin users to download reports of previously uploaded data filtered by fiscal year, reporting agency, and bureau. Users may download various reports including Asset Detailed Report, Asset Detailed Report Codes, and summary reports including Summary by Agency, Bureau Asset Type, and more. To download a file, select the fiscal year, reporting agency, report, and reporting bureau, then click the Download button at the center top or bottom of the page. The system will automatically generate the requested report and bring you to the report page where you may export the report by clicking the down arrow next to Edit and selecting Export, then selecting your export options. The training page is a repository of all relevant FRPP MS training documentation, including but not limited to the FRPP MS Data Dictionary, contact information, training manuals, data submission templates, training links, and more. Reference this tab if you are searching for guidance on the usage of FRPP MS. If you require further technical assistance, you may reach out to the help desk by clicking the link at the bottom of the page or navigating to the Contact Us page. If you have any questions, please utilize the user guide and the data dictionary links on the training page, and/or reach out to the FRPP help desk using the email address frppms@gsa.gov or clicking the help desk link at the bottom of every FRPP page, or by visiting the FRPP Contact Us page. Thank you for viewing the FRPP MS training video.